Senior Obi Enechionia and Senior Josh Brown. We'll begin if you'd silence your cell phones, please. I'll do the same. We'll take an opening statement from Coach Dunphy, then we'll open it up for questions for Coach and the student athletes. Coach, your thoughts on the game, please.
Well, we're excited to be moving on. I thought Tulane gave us a great effort. I thought maybe the difference in the game was the amount of times we got to the foul line. I thought we drove it well. We pressed the issue a little bit. We talked about it, but obviously it opened up for us a little bit tonight. So big shots were made. Obi made some big shots. J.P. Mormon made a big shot. Shiz Alston made some big shots, a couple big foul shots down the stretch. So, and then the last piece would be just turning it over 6 times, which I think is something we take a lot of pride in, but it doesn't always happen that way. But we're thrilled to be moving on.
Okay, we'll take questions for Coach and the student athletes. Raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. And if you would, just please introduce yourself and your media outlet before your question. Questions here in front.
Fran, Mark Narducci, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Fran, first of all, can you tell us anything about J.P. Mormon?
You know, they're looking at him now. You know, we're hoping that it's not anything that's real serious, obviously, but we'll find out when we get back in the locker room what the preliminary diagnosis would be. Look, these guys, I didn't see it, but they both said they looked like he just kind of straightened his leg out when he came down, but I didn't see it. Maybe you guys had a better look than I did.
The other thing, Obi, you looked to be more aggressive. You didn't hesitate on your shot tonight. You had talked the other day about trying to be more aggressive. Did that just go into your thinking coming in tonight?
Yeah, I tried to be as aggressive as possible. My guys did a great job of finding me, and you know, I was able to hit the open shots. So that was just trying to be a little bit more aggressive, attacking the basket as well as with my shooting.
Sean?
Josh, Sean Pastor, Rouse Daily. Josh, you know, it was 24-0 the other day, so I guess 10-1 was not that big a deal in a sense at the start of this game.
Yeah, we talked about getting off to a good start, but unfortunately we wasn't able to. But we didn't put our heads down like we did the last game. We just, you know, kind of came together and we fought back, and I think we ended the half up too, I think.
Over here.
4, by the way.
Oh, up 4. Sorry.
Nick Menta, Alscoop.com. Fran, basketball is obviously a game of make and misses. You guys have had your up and downs this year. What did you see, particularly at the end of the first half, the beginning of the second, as those shots started to fall? What was different about your offense at that point?
Well, I have great faith and trust in these two guys, and obviously Shiz and Q are outstanding offensive players as well. I thought our offense became more in good rhythm at the end of the first half. I think we figured out what was going to work for us, and then again stepping up and making shots is so critical, and I think that all these guys did a really good job at that. But you know, even the other day when we were down 24-0, to get it back to where we got it, down 7 with 6 or so minutes left in the game, that's a long battle to come back from. But I think these guys understand that there's no quit in them, and I thought they did a terrific job of running their stuff toward that latter part of the first half, early part of the second half.
You've played 2 games against Wichita this year. They've been very good games. What can you take from those experiences into tomorrow?
Well, knowing how good they are, but we're going to have to play our best basketball, no question about it, but we're excited to have that opportunity tomorrow.
Big shot.
Good basketball team, really good.
Fran, how much was depth a factor?
Yeah, you know, we're playing 3 young guys coming off the bench. I thought Damian Moore did a good job in the first half, subbing for Earn there. But the 3 freshmen did a really good job. As I said, J.P. Moore made a huge 3 that took us, I think, from 4 back to 7 again. And then just as I mentioned in the locker room to the guys, that those 2 freshmen stepped up, and while it may not have felt great that they only made 1 out of 2, those were 2 big foul shots that they made. And they're good players. They're going to get better and better as the years go on as well.
Obi, what does this do to the team's confidence? I mean, you guys had a tough end of the regular season. What does a win like this do for you guys?
It's just a good win. It's good to get a win in the first game, especially against a team like that. So confidence-wise, I think it's going to help us going into tomorrow. obviously facing a great team, but it's one that we beat before, so I don't think confidence will be an issue. So.
Back.
Bree Hofstad's Temple update. Josh and Obi, every game you guys are playing from here on out could potentially be your last game. Are there any words that you have with the younger guys to kind of get them to want to play just as hard as you guys are going out there and playing?
Not necessarily. The stakes are high for them too. They want to play as well as we want to play. So we just trying to just hold ourselves accountable, each of us, and go out there and just try to get the victory.
Any other questions for Coach and the student athletes? Matt, in front.
You guys have played your fair share of close games this year. How does that help out when you get things get a little bit tight like it did down the stretch tonight?
Oh, we take that one.
Just having that experience. We go over late game situations in practice all the time, but it's different when it's in a game, and that's where you really get the experience. So just having that experience in those late game situations and knowing exactly what to do how to keep a lead and things like that definitely helps.
Time for one or two more. All right, Temple, thank you.
Thanks.
Proceed to our question, right. And the remaining Temple student athletes and head coach will be available in the locker room for about 15 or so more minutes. Yep. Okay, we're joined by head coach Mike Dunleavy Sr. We'll be joined shortly by Melvin Frazier and Cameron Reynolds. Again, the same procedures before. We'll take questions for Coach, and after which, Coach will give an opening statement, then we'll take questions for Coach. Coach, your thoughts on the game, please.
Well, obviously I'm disappointed that we lost. I thought that we started out the game the way we wanted to start it out. We executed pretty well. Then we settled for some shots from the outside when we were in the bonus, and Temple was able to catch up and take a lead. And then obviously they came out in that second half, and they caught, they got a couple of rhythm threes that they made right away, scored 8 points on us, and put us in a hole. I was proud of the way our guys fought back. It's kind of been a trait that we've had all year long, that we've been able to come from behind and win ball games. Probably had 7 or 8 games we were down by double digits in the second half of games and won. And, a couple shots here or there and maybe a little bit of a difference, but, tip my cap to Temple. They're a really well-coached team, really solid team. They space the floor, they pass the ball well, and obviously they've got a number of quality wins under their belt. So, hopefully they can take the next step.
Okay, take questions for Coach Dunleavy. Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Over to Joey.
Joey Knight with The Advocate. Coach, how do you feel in general you defended the three-point line tonight?
Well, we didn't do a great job. Clearly, we know the guys, Encioni and Austin and Rose like to shoot the three. They're catch-and-shoot guys. We're hopeful that that we could get to them closeouts right away, and there were a number of times we did a good job on it. But going backwards, Encioni ended up with a wide-open three in the last couple of minutes of the game, but I'd have to go back and look at the film. I have no idea how he got so open. We were scrambling around. Somebody miscommunicated a matchup probably where we maybe had 2 guys on one because, just wide open. And that, those type of things are big plays. We had a couple of miscommunications defensively at the end of the game that, that hurt. There were a lot of plays along the way, but, they get a little more magnified down the stretch. And we had a pick and roll high where I went with a small lineup so that we would switch all the pick and rolls. And, and they turned the corner and got a layup on one. And again, kind of a miscommunication, I guess, with our guys. You know, one guy thought it wasn't close enough for it to be a pick to switch, and that we should have just stayed. And again, if we talk it out, you know, stay or switch, then you don't run into those problems. But I thought that they got too many clean looks, particularly in that second half. Even though they were deep, they were deep looks, but they have that ability. It's just like Cam Reynolds, our guy. He's got that ability. I'm sure Coach was saying, on the other side that, hey, when Reynolds is there, get up underneath him, get under his chin. You don't want to give him space. And the last couple of shots that that he made, I think that he was back probably further than where they wanted him to be. But the big difference for us, I think, in the three-pointers and in the big part of the game was Moorman, number 4. The threes that he hit. They were a couple of kind of daggers in a sense that, he's got, some of the ability, but that's not necessarily his game. And they weren't particularly wide open shots. One, I think, was with the clock running down. And, he pulled the trigger and, he came up big for them. I'm hopeful that, his knee is not a bad injury. Hopefully he's able to recover and play, in a tournament here. But, he came in, he gave some value minutes, but talk about the threes. I mean, the threes he hit were big threes.
Other questions for Coach of the student athletes?
I had a follow-up. Cam, how would you describe the progress of this team from year one last year to this season? Even your losses down the stretch, a lot of them were close games. Just how would you describe the progress from this time last year to now?
Yeah, the progress is great. Like you said, we only won 6 games last year. We won 14 this year. And the games that we lost, 5 out of 6, we lost by a total of 22 points. And so everything is right there. We just have to be a disciplined team at the end of the shot clock.
How far back would you say those last couple of threes you hit were?
I'm not sure, but they went down, so that's the only thing that really matters.
Other questions for Coach of the student athletes? Tulane, thank you.
Okay, thank you.